Okay, today we're going to be learning distributive property, and we're going to see how it looks visually. We're going to do expanded form, and also we're going to try to make models to see how they look visually. And we're going to be looking at equivalent expressions. And again, we're going to be using models to help us increase our understanding. Let's look at the distributive property, and we're going to convert it to expanded form. We're going to be using visual models to help us understand, and we're going to use 4 times x plus y. Let's start building our model, and let's go ahead and do the x plus the y we're going to create the x plus the y times 4. Okay, so now we have our model that's 4 times x plus y. And if you notice, we have the x times the y as the length, and we have the width representing the 4. So we're going to just record to make sure you see where the 4 comes from, the width. And we're going to do x plus y as being the length. The distributive property is written as 4 times x plus y. Now let's continue to work with the distributive property. We're going to distribute 4 times x. And then we're going to distribute 4 times y. Let's not forget the addition sign. Notice we've multiplied 4 times y, 4 times x, and we ended up with expanded form. Now let's continue building equivalent expressions. Don't forget the 4 next to the parenthesis means times, and it tells us that we have 4x plus y. So let's write that using numbers, x plus y. We're going to do that 4 times, because remember, that is when you multiply is the same thing as repeated addition. So that is x plus y. And using our visual models, we can see there was 4x plus y. So now let's start constructing our visual and see what it looks like when we have repeated x plus y addition, and how we still have the same amount of x and y, but the format on the model changes a little bit. So let's pay close attention to that. Let's construct the last x plus y and keep track of how many you have added. Count them as you go through. So we have added 4x plus y. Now let's start looking at the expanded form, and let's do 4x plus y using our visual models. Let's put it together. Okay, let's start working with our x. So that's 3x's, but we need 4x, so we need to add 1 more to make it 4x. So we have the first part of the expression. Now we're going to do 4y. So let's get our 4y's together. That is 1, that is 2, that is 3, and 1 more should make our 4y. Don't worry about those colors, we'll get them fixed. I don't know what's happening. Now we're going to be having the 4x plus the y. If you see the visual, we have 4 x's and plus 4 y's. And we're just going to rewrite the x plus the x plus the x and the y plus the y plus the y as the short version of 4x and 4y. Now you might be able to see a model like this where we just put the 4x just using fewer symbols. The previous lessons we had, we were learning to write expressions with fewer symbols. Now let's look at the expressions, their equivalent, using our models and see how they relate to each other. There are two models for x plus y, or you might see it written in the shorter version with fewer symbols for x plus the 4y. Now let's look at our final expression, 4 times x plus y, and our model x plus y is your length and the 4 is your width. And this is how your expressions look. So don't get confused. Pay attention to how it's written in symbols and then how they be represented using models. And maybe that might help you get a better understanding of how they're equivalent and how they're the same.